Welcome to the Planbpreneur Podcast. This podcast is for professionals, entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, and leaders who want to create greater income and impact. On the podcast, we explore strategies, tools, and techniques for creating multiple streams of income, launching your entrepreneurial dreams, and living a life of impact. We bring to you amazing guests and experts, as well as practical opportunities to help you achieve your entrepreneurial goals. This is the Planbpreneur Podcast, and I am your host, Dami. Hey, Olive, thank you so much for joining me on the call, and thank you for joining me to have this conversation. I'm excited that we could finally do it. Like we were saying before the call started, it's been a while coming because of all the logistical problems, but I'm super excited that we can have this conversation and hear all the amazing things that you have to share with us. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me as well. And yeah, I'm happy that we finally have been able to have this call today. So I'm excited.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Where are you today? I know you're in Kenya. Are you in Nairobi or Mombasa or somewhere else?
Okay, so I am in Kenya, Nairobi, actually in the capital itself.
That's good.
Yeah, that's where I work from. So yeah.
Good. That's good. Nairobi. Is it sunny? Is it cold? How is it today?
As we speak, 26th April 2022 at 6:16 p.m. East African time, rather Kenyan time.
Yeah.
It's kind of chilly, because we're entering into the
Yeah.
evening part of the day, so it's not hot
Okay.
anymore. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's cool.
Mm.
No, that's some good detail. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I when we started to prep for this conversation and I looked at some of the stuff that you do, I saw that you're multifaceted as an individual. I've seen you do stuff in cryptocurrency, in agriculture,
Yeah.
and in all of different things, content creation, YouTube hosting, and all that. So I'm super
Yeah.
excited to hear more about your story and all these things that you're doing. But tell
Sure.
me, to start with, how do you
Mm-hmm.
describe yourself and what you do? What do you do? How do you describe all the things that you do?
It's funny how you get asked this question all the time and it still feels new all the
Oh,
time.
I know.
But how do I describe myself? Um, and what I do. So maybe let me just lean on the what I do part.
Okay.
So like you introduced me, my name is Olivin Kirote, and I usually say I have two babies because ideally they are babies. They feed off me. They need me.
That's good.
The firstborn is known as Yummy Rabbits Kenya, like
Mhm.
YRK, and it's an agriculture-based business, right? Agripreneurship, if you could call it.
Yeah.
And we focus on providing organic rabbit meat and organic options of fertilizer and pesticide to farmers in Kenya and hopefully Africa, right? And
Yeah.
then the second born, right? Because I said I have two babies there. The second born is known as Olive Kirote rebranded. And I know many people ask me, did you actually choose three names for your businesses? It just happened. Okay, it just happened. So Olive Kirote rebranded, short for ONR, is an educational platform on YouTube and on Instagram. And on this platform, I teach people basically business, money, investing, and cryptocurrency as well. And actually, ONR was born because of YRK, because of Yami Rabbits Kenya.
Mm.
And yeah, basically that's it.
That's good. That's good. And I love what you were saying earlier on about your two babies, right? What I
Yes.
want to understand, you said ONR was started because of YRK, that
Yami
is
Rabbit.
Yami Rabbits
Yeah.
Kenya and
Yeah.
Olive Included Reloaded. How do you mean it was started because of that?
Rebranded.
Yeah,
I have to say Olive Kirote rebranded.
sorry,
Okay.
rebranded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I say
So
reloaded?
no, yeah, you did say reloaded. I was like,
Yeah,
no.
metrics in my head. I'm sorry, like rebranded. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
okay. So you're asking how did it happen that ONR was born because of Yami Rabbits Kenya?
yeah, that's the question.
Okay, so when I started Yummy Rabbits, I was fresh from campus, right? I had finished university. I usually say I had some money, not because I was saving, which I wish I was, but
Mm,
you know how, I don't know if you guys do this in your country or rather in Nigeria or in other African countries, but where I'm from, when you're finishing school, family members like chip in some money for you to like tell you congratulations. You could use this
interest.
money to start a business or to move out and like have your own house or something. So when my family did that, I was like, I could use this money to start a business, and that's what I used to start Yummy Rabbits Kenya. But then, obviously, when you start a business, you don't know what you're doing. Okay, for me, I did not know what I was doing. I just felt like it was fancy to start a business, and yeah, not the best of ideas at that time, but anyway, I still did it. So I come to YouTube to look for maybe content that can help me as a business owner in starting my journey of business. So how do I register my business? How do I get a permit? How do I, maneuver this world of legal taxes? Like, where can
Yeah.
I get this content? So I went to YouTube. But I was slightly disappointed because there was nothing that I liked. And I remember asking my mom and my family, like, is there no one like teaching business owners how to start businesses? Like, I thought this content should be readily available. And the content that was there just felt a bit outdated. So I was like, maybe let me just teach people what I learned. So
Mm,
I started my channel, yeah, and my channel was basically, as a business owner, I learned quickly, oh, I need to maybe find a bank to even sign, like, and when I go to a bank, they're like, have you registered your business? I'm like, oh, I need to register my business. So I go teach myself that whole process, and then I go to YouTube and I create a video about it. So I'm like, hi
oh, wow.
guys, my name is Olive. Welcome back to my channel. I have learned how to register a business in Kenya. And then I show people that whole process. So it
That's great.
became a thing. Yeah, so it became a thing whereby everything I learned because of Yummy Rabbits, I just came and taught people at ONR. And at
Yeah.
that time, it wasn't ONR, it was just my name. But yeah, you get the point. So yeah, that's how ONR was born.
Oh, wow. No, that's cool. There's a number of cool things about what you just said. Number one, I I mean my parents are supportive and our parents are supportive, but I can remember if there's a practice of getting money to move out or to set up. I didn't get that at least. But I feel like that is such a
Okay.
good thing that perhaps can be incorporated maybe on the continent, right? Across the continent,
Yeah,
because the continent is still very much a communal. We have a communal culture. We have things like
yeah,
Ubuntu. We have things like sharing. So I love this idea.
yeah,
Maybe we can propagate it more. But that's cool. So you went and
yeah,
started a business. And I'm going to ask you later on why you chose rabbits. But I also wanted to dig in to say, you said I like what you were doing. So you felt the frustration of not finding the right information. So you recognize a problem, and because you were
yeah,
feeling that problem, and many times innovation is about being able to respond to the problem that you're facing that many other people could be facing. So that was cool that you actually thought, you know what,
yeah,
I can find this so I can create it for others. And I'm glad to hear about that. But first, before we talk a little bit more about the YouTube thing, why did you choose
yeah.
rabbits?
That's fun. That's a whole story, but let me just try and make it short and sweet.
Okay.
So when my parents gave me this amount, it was not just my parents; it was a combination of my uncles, my aunties, like the whole like
Wow. It's
extended family.
community funded.
And
Yeah.
yes, and I can actually say they actually raised $2,000. Imagine. And I remember when they gave me that amount, I was like, what? Okay, partly also because in my family there's this thing they say, if you do well in school, we will raise
Yeah.
the money for you and help you. So also, like, if you get the grades that they want as a family, they actually reward you. So they rewarded me because I was among, like, let's just say I did well in school. Yeah. So when I was
Good.
given this money, I thought of moving out, but that wasn't making sense. And then I wanted to get a job, but again, I kind of didn't feel like getting a job. So I was like, let me start a business. So I go at the back of our house. My mom used to have a chicken shed there. And I was like, maybe I can keep chickens because I've kept chickens with my mom. We've woken
Okay.
up to feed them, we've sold them, we've slaughtered. So I kind of had an idea. But then I remembered how stressful chickens were. And I was just like, do I really want to do chickens? So I scrapped that idea and I just went online and just like researched what are the animals you can keep with little space. Like that was my search. I didn't even have a problem I was trying to solve. I was just like, I need to keep something with this money
That's
that
good.
I can sell, and we don't have space, so I can't keep cows, I can't keep pigs. Like that's too much. I needed something small, so I found there was chickens, there's guinea fowls, there's ducks, there's what did I find, turkey as well. Then I saw rabbits and I was like, okay. So out of all of them, chicken is already good in Kenya. Like many people buy chicken. I was like,
Mm,
how will I be able to sell my chicken? That might be hard because there's already a lot of chicken in the market. So I scrapped that idea. Then I looked at turkey, guinea fowls, and ducks, and I was just like, how do I even convince someone to buy a guinea fowl or something? So I
I
scrapped
know.
that idea. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was left with rabbits. And that's actually how I decided to start the business. Also, when I started reading about rabbits, something stood out to me. So, a rabbit cannot be wasted. And let me explain
Mm,
to you. So, if you have a bunny rabbit, you can, when you slaughter the meat, and it's one of the healthiest meat in the world, you sell the meat as separate. Then I learned that the fur can be used to create bags, can be used to be creating sandals, and the Maasai community in Kenya use the fur for that. And I was like, okay, so I'll use the fur, I'll use the meat. Then I learned that one of the healthiest, or rather one of the best organic fertilizers from animals is from rabbit because it's cold
interesting.
manure, while other animals it's hot manure. You have to kind of like,
Mm,
like there's a process. But for rabbit manure, even if you were to put the rabbit manure directly to a plant, it doesn't burn them because it's cold. And I was like, why are there not many rabbit farmers then?
I
So
see.
that
Eureka.
yeah, so yeah, I decided to go with rabbits. And honestly that's how I chose rabbit farming.
Oh wow, no, that's really cool, right? Like, and
Yeah,
this is functional innovation in the sense to say that there's actually a rationale for this, and like you were saying, there were things where what are the constraints you have? Not a lot of
yeah,
space, and you don't want
yeah,
things that is hard to manage. And I think that
yeah,
this is a good insight for somebody who's trying to start something and have those like people talk about how do I find an idea? How do I know what to start off with? There are functional questions, just like you're saying, that you can ask yourself, what do you have? What is
yeah,
the rationale? And then you can find out the best way. And this is brilliant. And as you leaned more into it, you actually found out that this is cool. I must say
yeah,
$2,000 was a good starter for that. So how's the
yeah.
rack doing? How's it doing today? What's that progress looking like?
Um, okay, so when we started small. At first you think $2,000 is a lot, and then you just buy a few items, and you're like,
By the
oh,
teenagers,
run is over. So I found a partner to partner with who also raised another amount. So we became two founders, and then we were able now to actually get it up and running in a way that we were able now to actually stock enough and sell. And we did that. So Yummy Rabbits was founded in 2019, ideally. But the whole of 2019, I can just say it was trial and error. I
Mhm.
thought I had a lot of money, but I didn't. I wanted to look for a partner to help me. So it was just a very long year of figuring things out. Then now in 2020, when I figured things out, Miss Rona came blazing. Miss Rona came blazing with guns.
I
And
know,
I was like,
just like everywhere.
yeah, so kind of got stuck again. But then now in 2020, I realized because now we were selling, but a rabbit needs like time for it to be slaughtered. So maybe I had like 30, 40 rabbits, and then I would fatten them, and then I would sell them, and then I'd be stuck. Because now I'm like, oh, I don't have any more. So a client would come like after 2 weeks, and I'm like, I don't have rabbits. I slaughtered all of them like 2 weeks ago. Give me 3 more months. And that was not consistent. So
Yeah.
I realized I needed a bigger piece of land, a bigger structure, and more rabbit cages. And I remember drafting that whole amount, and I was just like, okay, so where do I get this money? um,
Yeah.
I can't say I will sell and then save to raise that kind of money. I'd probably take God knows 5 years. So I started looking for investors, and who else is the best investment apart from your family? So my family had seen what I had done with the $2,000, and I know this is not for everyone, because not everyone has that luxury to have family members who are willing to support or who have that capacity to actually give you money. So I know that's a blessing on its own. But I went back to my family and I showed them what I had done, my how I'd sold them, and I was stuck. I just needed them to invest more money, and I was willing to pay them back. So they came through again, and I know, like, it's a blessing again. So they came through, helped me secure a piece of land that our family had, helped me build, and then
Oh, wow.
now they were like, okay, we've helped you, now let's see what you can do. Then now I started having to find ways to, like, make this place bigger.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this was 2020. So 2020 we got a small piece of land. 2020 we built. So again, these are angel investors. That's what I call them, because my angel investors was my family. And then 2021, I had exhausted the family fund. Everyone was like, "We are not giving you any more money now. You have exhausted it all." So it's now
Right.
up to you. Yeah. So that's now the point. Also, I started working on ONR because I honestly didn't want to go for the bank route because of loans. I wasn't that confident I'd be able to pay it back as fast as they wanted.
Yeah.
So I started looking for other opportunities to get funding, which some I got, but then also I started building my other business so that it could help me fund the other small part that my family didn't finish for me, which honestly they had already done so much. It was also like, okay, now you can't keep asking for more. You also have to find ways to make money or find someone else to help you. And that's what I did. And right now, my rabbits is expanding to almost 1,000 to 2,000 rabbits. Currently, we have, because of how we've positioned ourselves on social media and online, most of the brands that, restaurants that, are focused on healthy eating and organic eating reach out to us. I can't complain. I actually just want to see how good this year will be and the favors that the Lord will bring unto us. But yeah, it's doing well. It's really doing well.
Oh, wow. What a story and what a progress. I think as
Yeah,
well, like there are people who, and I don't take for granted, like you said, that your family was there to support you. But the truth is
yeah,
that if you weren't demonstrating that tenacity and that commitment, I think it would have been harder
yeah.
for them. Because there's people who also have an entitlement mentality and say, hey, family, you should support me, but they're not
Just
really
yeah,
doing a lot of things,
yeah.
right?
They don't
But at
know.
the end of the day,
Yeah,
even if they didn't support you, like you said, you needed to go out at some point and actually find your way. But it was a
yeah,
blessing that they did support you, and that's good.
yes,
But I'm also glad to hear about like how that rabbit farm is grown and just all that you're able to do with that. That's brilliant.
yeah,
So how is the
yeah.
other business doing? The ONR platform, is that raising money that you need in ways that you can fund back into uh, the rabbit?
Yes, I can again say, when I again is a blessing on its own, because in 2020 when things were hard, both the Rabbits were and ONR were just there. I remember because I didn't have capital and I was waiting for my family to come through for me. I had drafted proposals. I was literally putting a PowerPoint presentation in front of them. And I'm like, this is what I plan to do with your money. And
That's
they
good.
were like, okay, let's see how we'll help you and all that. So in that process, I was like, I might as well put more energy on my channel because I'm stuck. Like, what do I do? So I really started reading and I was really broke, like really broke in 2020. And that's when I stumbled upon cryptocurrency because I was
Mhm.
looking for what can I invest in as a young, struggling business owner that I don't need to invest so much, or rather, I need to invest a bit, but I can see returns. And all the investment solutions that were there, real estate, obviously, I was like, I can't even afford that. So that's out of the picture. When I looked at stocks and shares, they kind of had that horizon aspect that needed me to at least wait, and you can't. Hey, I was like, this doesn't make sense. And then when I look at, let's say, unit trusts or money market funds, I'm like, so this one requires me to actually save every month, and so that I'm given maybe 10% annually. I'm like, 10%? Like, what is 10% gonna do for me right now? So I kept, like, I honestly, 2020, I read, Demi, I was looking for ways to just have some income. And that's when I stumbled upon crypto. I knew about it, but I didn't do it right. So I went and read and read and read. And I actually posted my first video on the channel about crypto on May 5th, 2020, right? And that was my first video, and I was telling people what is cryptocurrency. So everything I had read as I was broke and sad,
You
I started
just,
sharing with my audience. Yeah.
it's good.
And then I remember I invested a small amount of money during that time, and I actually showed my audience. I was pretty broke, so I couldn't even invest that much. It was around there were two investments. One was around $10, another one was around $25. So I invested that, and then I forgot about it. But then I didn't realize that in 2020, when the markets were so bad because of Corona, everything was half price. If you're buying real estate, if you're buying stocks, if you're buying shares, if you're buying crypto, things were bad because truly the world was shaken. So not
Yeah,
many people were doing well for themselves. So the markets weren't doing well. But in 2021, when, let's say, especially in America, when they were giving out stimulus checks and they were giving bailouts to companies, a lot of money was reinvested back into the markets. So the
yeah,
markets kind of blew up, right? So I remember
yeah.
looking at my accounts early 2021 after such a struggling year and seeing my money like 10 times. I don't even know if it's 10 times, 10x. And I was like, I think I have cracked the code.
No,
you
yeah,
know so
yeah,
that's honestly how ONR began. And now, because of that, and showing, because my audience had seen, like, truly I didn't have money, this is what I invested, and then a few months later, because of the markets and how it performed, ONR made this amount of money. I got a lot of traffic from my fellow youth knocking my door and saying, Olive, do you have classes that you're willing to teach us? And I'm like,
wow.
oh, you want to learn from me? I only do rabbits. Do you know that? So that's how, yeah. So ONR was born, and then I formed it into a business. I bought a desk. I never used to have a desk. Let me tell you, Demi, I used to create content on the couch because it wasn't
Wow.
like that serious in my mind. But when people started asking, can you teach us? Can you host a master class? Can you guide us? Like, how did you do it? Is it really a scam? So I was like, okay, I think I can do this. So when I did it, and then now the income came, and then my parents and family also came through. All the money I was making was just going down to Yummy Rabbits because I was like, okay, there's another baby I had already
To
birthed, so
this.
I might as well make this one survive, because as much as this one is successful, if this one is also successful, that's good for me. So yeah, so now ONR grew into something I honestly didn't expect. The channel grew, people came, and then word of mouth referrals. So maybe I teach Demi how to do this, and then you go tell your friends, like, guys, I can't explain it to you, just pay her, she'll teach you. So it grew like that. And then yeah, that's where we are right now.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
some organic, quick growth, but it's also like there's things that you're saying, and I appreciate the fact that you're mentioning them because anybody can do similar, right? Like you talked about how you read, right? Like
yeah,
you took the time to actually investigate and to find out,
yeah,
which anybody can do, and actually take the time to do that. But I
yeah,
think more than that, you also just, even when, like you say, and I'm trying to encourage people here with this, because you at that point, like you're saying, you were broken sad in your words, but you did something. I think
yeah,
I just wanted to add that for people, especially who listen and feel like despondent at times because things are not working out for them. Just move, do what you can see,
yeah.
right? And you like just
Do
take the next,
something.
just do something, just break out of
Yeah,
that feeling of, oh, things are hard, I'm stuck, I'm giving up, just move. And look at you now. I mean, there's no, you're probably still going to face a lot of challenges, and I'm sure you still face a lot of challenges, but
Yeah.
you were able to move from that place because you took action. So that's
Yeah.
powerful. That's cool. And thank you for
Yeah.
sharing it. So and now
You're
you're teaching
welcome.
people crypto, like you now are teaching and all that, and your YouTube is growing and you're turning that into a business. Nice desk, by the way. Well,
Thank you.
desk. And I'm just curious to know, now you jumped into this
Hmm.
entrepreneur life. Were you
Yeah.
always going to be an entrepreneur? Was that your plan coming out of school, thinking about your next steps, or was there some other job you were eyeing and trying to go for? Tell me more.
Honestly, no. I honestly wanted to be into corporate. Like, I honestly saw myself like that corporate lady who will wear nice suits and strut into the office. I think for me, what changed is when I was in campus, for some reason, all my friends were doing businesses. I don't know why I did not think of doing the business, like starting my business as well with them. I was that friend who you'd be like, Olive, I have orders that we are delivering. Do you want to help? I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. Now, when I think about it, I helped so many businesses from my friends, but I didn't have one myself, which is
Maybe
so
that's why
funny.
now your business is growing because you sowed seeds into
Yeah.
others, right? And you also learn from them, perhaps. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Ideally, you're saying whatever you're saying is true. So even my own boyfriend was a business owner. And I honestly just had friends who were doing businesses and I was around them. I just never had a business myself. I did try, I actually did try, but I wasn't that successful with it. So I was like, maybe it's not for me. So when I finished school and I'm thinking, okay, do I actually really want to go to corporate even though I've been saying I want to go to corporate? I remember I even had someone to help me draft my CV. Like I was serious. And then I remember one weekend, my friends are like, they're strategizing to do their plan after university, what they're going to do with their businesses. And I'm like, I think let me just go. So I went and spent time with them and just hearing them speaking of what they plan to do, the income levels they want to reach. I personally have none, but then because they've been building when they're in campus, which I actually advise people if you can't start a business, start it
Mm,
when you're in campus because the time you like that time frame of you learning and figuring things out, no one will notice because you were in school. Now once
yeah.
they're out of school, it's like they're sort of successful already in a way. Unlike me, I'm starting from scratch and figuring it out, and everyone else is already on to something. So I remember that really got me, and I went home and I just told my mom, you know what, mom, I think I'll start a business. And that generally that's what I did. But also I'm glad they were there because I would easily ask them, okay, when you get here, what do you do? Or if you're like accounting, like I remember accounting, I never used to know how to do it. They're like, okay, there's this free software that you can use called Wave. Okay, right now it's no longer available in Africa, but that time it was available in Africa. You can use it to do your accounting systems. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. I come back, guys. How do you create posters for your social media marketing? Like, where do you create them? And I can't afford Photoshop. They're like, oh, there's a place called Canva. You can create your posters. I'm like, okay, I went like that. So I actually credit my friends as well because if it wasn't them helping me, I think okay, I would have still figured it out maybe by Googling, but it kind of helped that process as well. So I guess that quote they say
Wow.
birds of the same feather flock together. Sometimes I do think it makes sense.
Yeah,
Maybe if my friends were not in entrepreneurship, I don't think I'd be in this path. But I don't know, who
that's
knows?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's certainly like a big factor. Like community rubs off on you, like the people that
Yeah.
you hang around with rubs off on you.
Yeah.
That's so good. I think one of the things we're talking about the Planbpreneur platform, one of the things we're trying to
Yeah.
factor in is like the community piece and really get people engaging with each other. So that's powerful that you mentioned that. Do you miss not working in corporate? Do you think that you're missing anything? Do you ever feel that way, or you've
No,
said okay?
No. First of all, I don't even know how it feels. So let's just start from there because I really didn't even get to distribute my CV or at least to work for a month. I didn't even do an internship because I chose a project, which I'm happy I did because I think I'm a really
Mm,
good researcher now, thanks to that project. But no, I don't really
that's
think I'm missing out. I do have friends who are in the corporate industries and we still talk, we still converse and all. I just love what I do. And again, people
that's
usually say, is it really your passion? I can't really say ati farming was a passion or doing YouTube videos was a passion. I think for me it was I just need to do something. And now over time, because I've done it so many times and then I've seen the impact I've created, it just starts to become something you love and you want to wake up and tell people what you learned. You want to wake up and tell them, oh, there's this brand that partnered with ONR and it's going to help you in this way. Or when I send like my rabbit meat to especially people who are like sick, in
mm,
terms of like lifestyle diseases, diabetes, and all that. And they're like, oh, yeah, we've been taking rapid meat and we've actually felt a change in our lives. That ish just makes me so happy. I don't know. For me, it's yes, I'm glad I make an income, but just that impact you've made because of the business you struggled to build. I think that to me wins it all. I don't know.
good.
I don't even want to be corporate.
No, that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's good. And I'm just thinking about it because you're here, you're striving, and you're building all those different things. Do you what qualities, right, do you
Yeah.
have helped you, right? And do you think that as the world changes, more people need to embrace some of this, or how do you see these qualities? Do you think that is only something that people like you can have, or how might it benefit other people? What qualities and actions, mindsets have helped you?
First of all, like I said, I had my broke years. I'm not like rich yet, but at least I know I'm not struggling completely. But
Yeah.
the things I remember that really worked for me was reading. I know I've said this so many times in this podcast interview, guys. I realized if like the best thing I can do is read. Like I'm investing in my mind. That's what I used to tell myself. Instead of
That's
being sad about my situation, instead of wallowing in depression, instead of complaining and creating excuses, I just needed to read. And the time I started reading books like Rich Dad Poor Dad or How to Be a Success, like all these books, How to Create Habits, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. The more I read, the more I realized, okay, so there are some habits I need to have as an entrepreneur to be successful. So I learned, okay, so if I want to be an entrepreneur, I need to maximize my time. I need to learn how to wake up early. I need to keep friends who are in my same context. Like there's a way these people are working that, and trust me, I couldn't even afford a book, Demi. So I used to find audio books on YouTube so that I listened. I swear I couldn't afford a book. I know it sounds mad, but I couldn't. So the only solution was to get audiobooks so that I don't have to spend money because Wi-Fi was being paid by my parents. So I
at least
mean, I
that's
can listen
sensible.
to yeah.
Yeah.
So the more I read books, the more I learned how I need to operate. Then now, once I learned, okay, so this is how people operate, I realized I need to do something. So, like for example, now that time in 2020 when I was waiting for my family to come through and I was waiting on them and all, and I was kind of depressed because again there's Corona and I'm asking for money. So it's like, do we give her money or do we also survive? I remember saying, okay, what do I need to do to be a successful ONR person? Since I've created this YouTube channel, one of my successful things is I need to create a video a week regardless. And I need to be consistent with one video a week. I mean, one video every week. So what I can tell you, my viewers, or the Demi fan, the Plan B preneurs, and everyone watching this, once you decide maybe you're going to learn how to edit videos because you want to be the best editor, or you want to learn how to create websites, create a routine. Like I'm going to practice every single week,
Mm,
regardless, or I'm going to give out 5 hours of my day and do this, or I'm going to create free websites for people until I'm better at it, or I'm going to edit
That's
tons
good.
and tons of videos, so that really helped me learning that I can't just be good at something. I have to really work on it consistently, even though I'm not seeing any results. But
Yeah.
how consistent I was the whole of 2020, because I had told myself, Olive, regardless of how sad you are, you have to put up a video every week. That helped
Good.
because now in 2021, it's like, oh, my channel just woke up from the slumber. I was stuck at 1,000 subscribers for so long, and all of a sudden YouTube is like, you're growing more than you usually do. You have gained 4,000 I'm like, where have they come from? Where was my YouTube channel asleep? But then now when I think about it, it's because I was building and building, and I could not see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I just kept building and building, you see. So yeah, that's what I'd tell people. One, read books, and if you can't afford the books, listen to a podcast or something. Two, um, what's it called? Learn a skill or decide to do something. Don't just sit and wait. If there are no jobs, find something that you're willing to teach yourself. You could be a good digital marketer, someone who manages social media pages for people. Start that and start reaching out to many businesses and even offer to do for them for free for a month, maybe for them to see the type of work you do. But you have to do something.
That's
Um,
good.
and then I guess that the final thing would just be just put yourself out there. You can't just sit and be sad and
Mhm.
complain and yeah. So I think that those are the qualities. I don't know if those were qualities or just ideas.
Practical actions, right?
Yeah, practical
Sounds more
actions.
like things that people can go and apply and do. I love that. Like you're saying, determined to learn something, do something. Don't sit and be sad. Put yourself out there.
Yeah,
Read, try out. These are very practical things that you're talking about. Like somebody can literally do them right now and build. You talked about like that discipline of
yeah,
consistency. That's powerful.
always,
That discipline of
always.
consistency. How many subscribers do you have now?
Right now I think we are at 16,400.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
man. That's yeah, that's some good progress.
we are trying. I'm telling you, we are trying. Hopefully
You're
we'll reach
hustling,
20.
you're doing it.
Ati?
I said you're hustling, you're doing it.
I'm
You're
telling
doing
you, we have to. We just giving your best every time and sticking to it and playing. I usually say you need to play the long term game in everything
Mhm.
you do. You always have to think of it long term. If it's a business, if it's maybe health and fitness, if it's eating well, like most of the even investing, everything is just if you want good results, you have to play the long term game. Like you can't just be like, I'll just do this for 4 months. No.
Yeah, that's good. Let's do performance,
Yeah.
but play the long term game. Oh wow,
Yeah.
Oliver, this is brilliant. This is a brilliant conversation. I love
I'm
your
happy.
energy. I love just the insights and a lot of the useful stuff that you're sharing. And I think that it's valuable for anybody who's going to listen to this. Um, so thank you. Thank you. I'm sure that this is not the last conversation we'll be having. We definitely want
Yes.
to dig into more and chat more. But thank you for sharing these insights and strategies that have
Yeah.
helped you and that anybody can use.
Yes, I'm happy. Thank you for having me. I hope someone has found value in this. They can also reach out to me. Can I shamelessly plug myself?
I
Okay.
was going to ask, that was the question I was going to ask you. Like, how can people find you and how can people reach out to you?
Okay.
So please do.
Okay, so one, they can reach out to me on my Instagram. I'm really active on Instagram. I am not active on any other platform other than Instagram and YouTube. So Instagram at olive_kirote. You can easily just DM me. Right
Okay.
now, I can manage my DMs. Maybe when I get to like 1 million followers, I might not be able, but for now, I still can manage DMs. But if you're more into official conversations, then you can email me at crypto Oli. So crypto is CRYPTO, and then Oli OLLY .onr@gmail.com. Again, we're actually launching our website soon, Demi. So I don't know. I don't know when this podcast would be up. But I think by the time they join the ONR family, there will probably be a website and another email. But for now, those two options work. And the YouTube channel is ONR. So I know that my videos sometimes are kind of based with Kenya, but there's some videos are like crypto-based videos, and other solutions like how to import from Alibaba that are not just Kenyan based. If you're in any other African country, you can benefit from it. So yeah, you can also
That's
check out
good.
the channel and help us grow. I'm happy. Thank you so much, Debbie, for this podcast interview. This was so fun. I could keep rambling.
I
I'm
know.
looking at my notes.
I feel
I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this. This can
your
also help
energy.
them.
Your energy. We have to do we have to do a part two of the conversation. But I
We
also love
must.
the marketing energy as well. And now you're putting yourself out there. Great one.
Thank you. Thank
So
you. Okay.